Divas and Demonites, bienvenidos. Welcome to the after party. It is I, Isa, aka the Demon Diva. Now, typically, this is a members only stream. However, we spun the wheel today and it said post show for everybody. So here we are. If you're not a member, we typically just break down. We don't have a script. We don't do this in a scripted manner. This should be easy. We should be able to discuss every match because it was only 4 matches on the show. So I feel like we should be able to get through this fairly easy. And I thought this is what we do. We go match by match. We talked about what we liked and what didn't like. And then at the end, we can speculate and give our overall thoughts on the pay-per-view. Listen, I was entertained. Will I go back to rewatch this? Probably not. Remember what I was talking earlier when I said, hey, when you go to a restaurant and the food is all right, it's edible, but will you go back to that restaurant again? No, that's how Survivor Series War Games felt. But before we go into it and break it down and do everything, I want to thank everybody. We had over 1,400 people watching live earlier. So thank you so much to everybody who tuned in tonight. I had so much fun watching War Games with you guys. And now we are live. I see Paul Kyoko, KOD, Edgar. I see MFer. I see Kevin Goodman, David Horse in the chat. I see Bloody Money in here. I see everybody pulling up. And I know everybody's live right now. I typically... These are about half hour, 40 minutes. I'm not going to sit here and talk for 3 hours about the show, okay? I'm not about that life. Besides, I just talk for 3 hours. But let's go ahead and break it down. We're going to go ahead and start. The show started. First of all, beautiful venue, beautiful city. Do more at Petco Park, right? It's very, another one that I have always said go back to is SoFi. I thought SoFi was beautiful. I felt the same way about San Diego today. The views of the sun setting, it's a beautiful ballpark. I've been there for a Padres game in the past, and I remember just falling in love with the venue and the area. And WWE was able to capture that, from some of the visuals that we saw. I really like the venue itself. The crowd was great. The crowd, well, not all the time. There was some things that didn't really get a pop, but for the most part, the crowd was energetic, and they were there. So. Buddy Murphy, I doubt that. We'll get into that. Let's start with the women's War Games match, okay? And like I said, I don't like to be Mrs. Negative, but I like to be Mrs. Realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I did like about War Games for the women's. Io Sky did her spot. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Rhea's entire Terrifier inspired outfit. I'm a big Art the Clown fan, and I'm a big horror movie head, so that popped me. And what else? I like Naya's gear. First of all, the most wholesome moment of the evening goes out to the Queen Charlotte Flair, whose gear was inspired by Scarlett, a little Charlotte fan who's currently battling cancer. She was sitting in front row, and that right there deserves all the points in the world because amazing, right? Amazing. Io's trash can. You know what I loved about the Io's trash can is that she came in with the lid. And then later on, we saw Rhea come out with the rest of it. And I thought that was really fun continuation. And I enjoy how they liked it. Now, no. We're not going to go into what I didn't like. But I have to point this out right off the bat. No shark cages. There was something that I did like about not having them waiting in a cage. And it is the fact, Revolution to Evolution said, this whole thing could have been an email. It was the fact that you don't know who's coming out, and I like the fact that you didn't know what they were going to bring into the table. They didn't use that a lot. Outside of Rhea bringing the rest of Io's trash can, I don't think that the fact that they were coming out unknown, I don't think they took advantage of that. We saw Becky Lynch come out with a kendo stick. Kairi Sane brought out a Shane. I was like, really? That's what you're bringing to a War Games match? But hey, I love Nia Jax's gear. I think it was like a hit or a miss. I saw some people that didn't like it and some people loved it. I loved it because Nia never really wears colorful things, so it just felt different. So I really like that. The shark cage definitely cost us a bingo. Now, the match itself, it was very tame. And listen, I was telling you guys last year, a lot of people got injured, especially on the men's War Games match. So I wasn't expecting either one of them to go crazy, but because the lineup was so stacked, I don't know why they keep doing this. WWE keeps doing this where they did it with the Rumble too, where the name value is crazy and you get so hyped because you're getting all of these names, but then the result is just like, oh, really? That's what we're getting? I was underwhelmed. I mean, AJ Lee made Becky tapped again. I do have to give Becky Lynch some credit here because I really loved how Becky Lynch was like selling with her facials, how worried she was. Like a lot of points that would go to Becky, and Becky will have on her face the, I don't know, Braun Breaker. I hope he's okay. He looked okay on the post show. I was watching the post show while I was sitting here editing and resting before I went live. He looked okay. They would go to Becky, and Becky would just be like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like, you could see her doubting her teammates, and just, you know, she wasn't about that life. And yeah, they had AJ Lee tapped her out. I thought Lash was very impressive. I didn't think she was gonna get a pop when she came out. A lot of people are talking like, oh my god, no pop. They don't know her. They don't even know her music. I mean, we knew she was the one coming out. There wasn't anybody left, so. But I will say that they had her hit some power moves in which she looked impressive. There was a couple of spots there where they were trying to get a little fancier with it. I don't need that from Lash. I don't need that. I thought when she was power bombing people and just like forearms and this and that, it was impressive, you know. So but I did think she had a good showing for what she did while she was in there, you know. AJ Lee had her first War Games match, and I thought she looked okay. But I don't know that this is a match that I will go back to rewatch. And this isn't the first year that I say that about the women's War Games match. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it while we were live and watching it, but it just doesn't. I don't see any rewatch value on it. You know what I mean? Like, what would you rewatch it for? You know what I mean? That's my main thing with this women's War Games match. I mean, it was stacked. But for if that's what we're gonna get, outside of Io's trash can spot, why not just do a typical Survivor Series elimination match? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing War Games? Why not just put them in a Survivor Series? Because there was no crazy spots. There was not a lot of use of the cage. There was, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I like the not knowing who's coming out aspect of a War Games and this and that. But inside the cage, it just felt like a normal match with a couple of really cool spots. No, it was mostly just Io. I think the rest of the spots were just normal spots. You know what I mean? Like, tell me that Lash could have not come in a regular match and do what she did. You know what I mean? Like, if it was like a non-DQ match, I don't know. I don't know. I not trying to like be super positive. I'm also not trying to be super negative. It was just there. It was just there for me. It was a fun opener, you know. But it was Roman just came into the room. He's laying down right behind me. The War Games should be because it calls for it, you know. And I had a feeling once they changed Survivor Series to War Games that we would get to this point. I didn't think we would get to this point so soon, Brooke and Brian, where we would be like, maybe we should just call off War Games and just have War Games when it calls for it. I don't think it's needed every year, and it feels so forced, you know. I mean, then again, if we don't add Roman and Brock at the final match, which we'll get to, I don't know what we would have gotten out of that either. You know what I mean? So, it feels forced. War Games is at least with Hell in a... I dealt with Hell in a Cell for a couple of years before I was like, because there was a couple of Hell in a Cell matches that felt necessary to end the feud. It would just be very convenient when the feuds would start, like right before SummerSlam. You knew where they were headed. But they did a good job at building some feuds for when Hell in a Cell was a thing. But you always know in October, we were going to get some feuds that would start in the summer. You know exactly where they were going to end up at. You know what I mean? Like, Roman and Bray Wyatt did that. You know what I mean? Like, Sasha and Charlotte. Like, there was a couple of Hell in a Cell matches that you were like, yeah, this is going to end up in Hell in a Cell. So, I don't know that we need War Games every year. I don't. But, I mean, if you didn't watch it, would I say, oh my God, you have to? Let me tell you something about this pay-per-view overall. If you missed it, if you're tuning in right now and say, hey, I missed War Games, I would just tell you to go back and watch Dom and Cena. What a great transition to talk about the next match. If I gotta give the women's War Game a score from 0 to 5, we're gonna book on from 0 to 5. I'm gonna give them a 2.5. 3. I'll give them 3. There was a lot of star faction. There was a lot of people work well together, but there was not a spot that I'm gonna think about forever, and the EO spot, we've seen it. Like, I respect it. I think it's crazy that this woman puts on a trash can and just blind jumps down. Like, that's insane. You gotta be crazy. The trust that you gotta have in your opponents is crazy, and the people waiting for her to catch her have to just be so accurate. So I will never, ever take away from EO's working spot, but it happens every year. It's there. You know what I mean? So did I see anything new? No, I saw Lash Legend come in and make her name, but I feel like what Lash did, she could have done anywhere in any match. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Let's talk about Dominik Mysterio and John Cena, because what a perfectly overbooked mess this was, and I loved it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to tell you. Yeah, so Roman, not only did the fireworks scare him when we were streaming, but he started storming a little bit when I went off the air. That's why I waited a little bit to go live, because I was like, is it going to be thundering? Like, I don't want to go live with, like, the sound. So he was scared again, but now he's very chill. Oh, I don't know where he went. He left the room again. John Cena and Dom was a mess in the best possible way. Let's talk about the things that I love. Liv Morgan is back. Liv Morgan is back. Liv Morgan grew so much on me as soon as she, like, took Dom from Rhea, and I feel like you were supposed to hate her, but from that point, I always liked Liv, right? Like, I feel like I always liked Liv, but that 2024 run, when she had the women's title and she was with Dom, like, my God, like, it was just crazy to see how far Liv Morgan has come. And then that injury, at the worst possible timing. So Liv finally comes back. But let's break down the match before I can tell you what I like, right? So first of all, Dom comes out with just Raquel and Roxanne. Right there. That was my giveaway. I was like, oh, shit, Liv is going to come back. Because why would he have the girls? But I was like, is she going to come back face and kick their asses? Like, I didn't know where we were going. But seeing Dom come out with the girls and not JD and Finn, I thought was odd, right? John Cena comes out, insane reaction, and of course, it's emotional. It's his last pay-per-view. He acknowledges it. I thought it was fun that John Cena ran down the front and like gave everybody high fives. The intro is emotional. The crowd is, you feel the energy, and I love that John Cena has gotten this retirement tour. I know some people are not happy, and no, it hasn't been a perfect retirement tour by any means, but we have gotten to like really give John Cena his flowers and enjoy these final moments. And as I'm not even like, I've never been big on Cena. You guys know this. I actually didn't like Cena for the majority of my time watching wrestling. But the amount of appreciation that I got out of just, let me just take this in because we're not going to have him. As John Cena had that thing that you love to hate him. Even if you were me where you're just chanting John Cena sucks, it's because you love to hate him. It wasn't because you actually hated him. I never hated him. But I have got such a new appreciation for him, and it sucks that now that I finally found the John Cena appreciation, he's going to be gone. But anyway, so yeah, it's emotional. So, of course, Dom fakes an injury, which, okay, there was a little part that I didn't like in the injury because it looks so similar. I'm taking my heels off, by the way. It's time. It was very similar to what happened on Penta on Monday Night Raw. And it scared me because, Dom was selling his little bottle for this injury, and he looked the same. He landed the exact same way that Penta landed. And I was like, there is no way that we're going to lose Dom here, right? Especially on this run that Dom is right now. He's like their workhorse. And don't forget, he's showing up on Triple A like every weekend too to work over there. He's the mega champ. So it scared me. But we were getting worked, and I loved it, right? While he was like, ref and medics are checking on Dom, Roxanne and Raquel get spots on fucking, they hit their finishers on Cena. Cena was very willing to work with the ladies tonight. And hold on, let me get comfier. So yeah, so Dom was not injured. We got worked, and the girls went in there, and of course, as soon as that happened, Dom gets in, hits a 619. Ref figures out what's going on, and he kicks the girls off from ringside. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe Liv is not coming back, because I thought the girls being involved will be the reason why Liv will return. The match keeps going, and we see Finn and JD come out. No tension. They come out to help Dom. And there's a ref bump. Then Finn and JD try to hit their finishers, but Cena gets out of the way. And Cena hits the double AA. And my heart exploded because, Cena, first of all, you still got it. And second of all, it was just fun to see. Even Finn Balor's face was like, Finn Balor looked like a fanboy when Cena picked him and JD up for the double AA. And it's just a spot that I have always enjoyed from Cena, and seeing him hit it one more time was a lot of fun. And of course, at some point in there, we hit a ref bump. After Cena gets rid of JD and Finn, at this point, right, I'm going to tell you what I was thinking, and I would love to know if you guys were thinking the same thing, but I'm thinking when I see Finn and JD, I'm not thinking Liv is coming back anymore. I'm thinking Ray's going to come out, even things out for Cena, and help Cena retain. But that's not what happens. Cena get rid of Judgment Day, and then there's a ref bump, and he hits an AA on Dom, and when he goes for the pin, he calls for a referee. And who comes out is Liv. Liv Morgan's music hit to an amazing reaction, which I just want to say that I'm not trying to throw shade here, but like when we see, for example, Lash or like Stephanie Vaquer come out and there's no reaction, some people in the chat earlier were like, oh, it's an open air stadium. It doesn't matter. Listen to the reaction for Cena. Listen to the reaction for Rhea. Listen to the reaction Brock, Roman. The reactions were heard. When Liv comes back, let me see if I can find the video that WWE posted. You hear it. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to throw shade on the people that didn't get a pop, but it wasn't. Okay, I found it. I can't play the whole thing, but I can at least play you guys the moment that Liv comes back, so you can hear the reaction and understand that I'm not trying to throw shade here, but the reactions were heard. No, it wasn't just you, Paul. It was a couple of people. It wasn't an open air stadium issue. It was a people were not popping for people issue. And here is Liv Morgan's returning, and I want you to hear the reaction, okay?
An extra official.
I think some people need to work on how we're presenting them so they get better reactions from the crowd. Why am I tiny still? Okay, because I don't think it had anything to do with the stadium. When there was a reaction, you heard it. So there was a pop for Liv. Massive pop. She looked amazing. Now, she has a Lucha mask on her baggy pants, which she looked so good. And she had the word Guerita on her butt. So when she first worked us and slapped Dom, because I was like, nah, Liv is going to give a massive pop. She's going to come back face. But my brain and my heart wanted her to continue with Dom because I loved it. Dom still had the Liv t-shirts like and all that while she was out. So there was a part of me that was like, if she stays with Dom, she's gonna. It's not the big returns that get a big pop. Rhea got a big pop. You know what I mean? If she stays with Dom, she's gonna be a heel. So Liv completely works everybody. She slaps Dom and she jumps on John Cena's arms. I was like, that's so random. But she does the same face that Cena did when he turned heel. She does it, and then she low blows John Cena and helps Dominik hit Cena with the belt. And of course, now we magically get a ref. 1, 2, 3. Dominik Mysterio is your 2 times IC champ with the help of Liv Morgan. Way to bring her back and establish her as a heel. You don't have to worry about people being scared of like the reaction that she was gonna get. I didn't think Dom was gonna get heat in San Diego if Dom went over. Now let me ask you guys something. There was a lot of shenanigans here, but it was well executed, unlike the main event. Do you guys think that Cena losing here, does that help or hurts his last opponent? Because I saw a lot of people saying, well, if Cena loses and then, let's say, Gunther goes on to be his final opponent and beats him, what does that say? I don't care. It's John Cena. Like, John Cena losing or winning doesn't make a difference to me anymore. I want him to win his last match. I said what I said. Sorry, not sorry. I would love to see John Cena go out on top. I don't think that John Cena would do that just because of how much John Cena loves the game and respects the game. I think John Cena would want to go back, like out on his back. But I wouldn't mind Cena winning his last match and going out as the GOAT that, he claims to be. So, listen, a lot of shenanigans here, but this match gets a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I don't even know what the 0.5 that I'm taking away is. I don't know. Maybe it's a 5 out of 5. I'm not saying 5 stars in ring, but entertainment-wise, roller coaster of emotion-wise, I don't know what the fuck is gonna... No, yeah, it's a 5 out of 5. I was invested. It was a roller coaster of emotion. I never knew what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to win. I'm not mad at the result. That's 5. That's 5 out of 5. Yeah, this match gets it all. I'm not mad. I hope you guys aren't either, because I thought this was very well executed. Unfortunately, we got to talk about what followed this match. I was entertained. I don't know that I will go back and rewatch it, but I was entertained. Now, up next, we had Stephanie Vaquer against Nikki Bella. Let's talk about what we did like first, what I did like first. I love that Nikki Bella turned heel and changed her presentation. Bella Gone Bad is a bar. Bella Gone Bad is a bar. She changed her presentation. She's wearing the black gear. She looks darker. She looks more evil. When Nikki came out, she looked a little bit nervous, and I think I myself will include myself in the group of people that have been critical of Nikki's run because her matches have just been, I don't want to say underwhelming, but they just haven't been the best. And she's been in there with Nikki, like Nikki was in there with Becky, and that match was not my favorite, right? So I was scared, but at the same time, I was like, nah, I feel like her and Stephanie are going to have a chip on their shoulders to put on a really good match because this feud has had no heat. Nobody's really invested. So I did feel like they were going to go in there and at least put on a presentable match. And they did that. Not only Nikki changed her presentation, I thought Stephanie looked beautiful. I hated that she barely got a reaction from the crowd. We got to do more with Stephanie Vaquer and the way that we're presenting her or the feuds that we're putting her on to really establish her because these people, like a lot of the casual don't know her. And you just put her out there and had her win everything. And people are not going to like that. Listen, if they don't like it with the boys, like when Cena, Roman, like when they've been shoved down your throat, it's going to happen to some of the girls too. Right? And they're not presenting Stephanie in a way that will put her over. I don't know how you change that, but that's just my observation. And she didn't get a reaction at MSG. She didn't get a reaction here tonight. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. However, I do think that this was Nikki's best match since this run, since this comeback. I thought Nikki kept up with Stephanie. I thought Nikki was bumping and selling, and she was getting her own moves in there, and she was very smart in ring awareness. When Stephanie first tried to hit the Devil's Kiss, Nikki rolls out. She gets a little more evil on the outside. I thought the Devil's Kiss on top of the announce table was a fun spot because that's, a metal table like they told us. But Nikki kind of knows all that. They immediately got back in the ring like nothing just happened. But Stephanie hits another Devil's Kiss. Short, sweet, and simple. Stephanie returns. No twin magic. No shenanigans. It was just a match that was there. I think that they knew that they were set up for failure in the spot that they put them. People were coming down from the Dom and Cena roller coaster, and people were getting hyped for the men's war game, so they kind of set them up for failure in this spot. But I thought Nikki looked great. I like Nikki has been here for a while, and like I said, I've been one of the people that have been a little bit critical of Nikki's matches, and I thought that she looked great here. So I gotta give Nikki Bella some props. She kept up with the world's women's champion tonight, and I thought she looked great. Would I go back and rewatch this match? No. I give it a 3 out of 5 like I did with the opening match. It was there. I was entertained while watching it. There was no crazy, oh my God, that was a botch. And there was none of that. It was a good match. Could have been in an episode of Raw. Yeah. But I was just happy to see Nikki find her stride back and just be, because I do think that Nikki can be good in the ring. So it was just maybe ring rust, like one of you guys mentioned in the chat. And now we gotta talk about the main event. Let's talk about what we did like. Brock went crazy. He came in last for the heels, as we suspected he will, but my God, did he clean house. He just started spamming F5s and suplexes, and it's funny because when he did it with John Cena at WrestlePalooza, people hated it. Not me. But people hated it. And tonight, this is the kind of matches that you have Brock do that shit, and it works. Like, it just looks so fucking intimidating when he did that. I thought that when Roman finally gets to come out, and Brock is waiting for him on the outside, and it looked the visual of when Roman was walking down the ramp, and the cameraman got it to where you just see Brock, who's the size of a fucking wall, waiting for him at the end of on the fucking ramp. You're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. Like, oh shit, here we go again. I thought that Brock looked great here. I thought that Roman looked great while he was in the mess with Brock. Once he got back in, I don't know that Roman did much. And yeah, I said it. But I don't think Roman was meant to do much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I really do think that Roman and Brock were added for the start aspect of it. And the story was going to be told with the other people in the ring. CM Punk coming in first, I was shook. I liked it because, like, a lot of people doubt. I was one that said CM Punk's going to have to come in close to last because he can't go that long, you know? What else did I like? I thought Logan Paul was great. Here. Logan Paul was able to keep up with everybody. He climbed the cage. He was, like, up there trading punches with Cody. He got the brass knuckles, which Roman got off of him and started punching people with him. I thought that was great. The Usos had a couple of spots, but probably the ones that shined the least were the Usos. Braun Breaker hit a couple of really good spears. And, of course, when Bronson Reed came in, he started hitting tsunamis on everybody. So, everybody got their shit in. Was there a crazy off the top of the cage spot? There wasn't. At least we saw Io do her thing. There wasn't nothing crazy here. Like I said, Logan and Cody got to the top of the cage and sat down and started, like, exchanging punches. But nobody did anything crazy. I told you guys on my stream that with like 4 people getting injured at War Games last year, I was perfectly okay with it being tame and them just going off their, strength. Yo, CM Punk picking up Brock for a GTS, that shit was that was a deep fake. That was a deep fake. I don't believe it. But as the match is hitting its climax, we see a hooded figure, a ninja of some sorts, coming. Some people are saying it's vacant. Some people are saying it's Austin Theory. I saw some people said it was Ethan Page. Somebody said Randy. I don't see Randy moving like that. The curbstone was too smooth and Randy's too big for that. So this person comes in, hits a curb stomp, helps the bad team win. Let me tell you something. I always thought the bad team was winning here. I did. I'm sorry. And I love Roman. My favorite, my baby daddy forever, my GOAT. But I always thought that Roman's team was just Roman. Everybody else to me was like, yeah, no, they can be beaten. So I never saw the Roman team having the advantage. So did I need a hooded figure to help? I didn't. I thought that this team could have easily gotten the win without the help of a mystery person. The thing that sucked here is that we didn't get to reveal who it was. This person left, the heels win, pay-per-view goes off the air. You got me fucked up. I know you want me to tune into Monday Night Raw, but come on. There are people paying $30 for ESPN. If you really think about it, I am paying $30 because I pay Netflix and I pay my VPN. Maybe it was vacant. I don't know who the mystery person was. I hate that we didn't get the reveal. I hate it. And the one thing that I did like is that person hit a curse stomp. So you automatically think, was Seth working us again? I don't think that they'll do a Seth working us injury. Austin Theory is a good guess. Even Ethan Page, I thought it was a little bit bigger than Ethan Page because Ethan Page is a little bit on the shorter side where Austin Theory is a little bit bigger. So the fact that we didn't get a reveal, I mean, we gotta follow up on this, right? And when do we see? Roman kind of like was talking shit to Punk and Cody, mostly to Cody. So are we going to go into a program with that? Oh, and I forgot to mention the person getting pinned was CM Punk by Braun Breaker. So is that Punk's next opponent? I did think in my predictions that a champ was going to get pinned and that was going to set up the next feud for that champion. So personally speaking, I wanted Drew to pin Cody and get justice. But I did think that it would be smart to have Logan pin Punk or somebody pin the champion so we can set up a program for that champion. If you pay attention to the stance, that's most definitely Austin Theory stance. That's a valid point, Trail Mix. That's a very valid point. I asked on Twitter, who is this hooded person? And a lot of people have said Austin Theory, and the more that I started thinking about it, the more that I was like, it's probably Austin Theory. We haven't seen him in forever. It will make sense. He has a connection with Seth Rollins. So, like, imagine if Seth Rollins from the shadows is trying to help the Vision. No, he wouldn't because he got kicked out of it. Okay, never mind. That theory is completely gone. I was gonna say maybe Seth Rollins from the shadows is sending them, but then I remembered that Braun Breaker kicked Seth Rollins out. We did not get to see who this hooded person was, and I think that killed a lot of momentum. And I don't think that we needed a hooded figure for a win. I don't. I think this team was so fucking stacked that check the WWE ID list might be a decoy to trick us. That's good, Serge. I like that too. I haven't. Okay. Listen. Maybe this is what they wanted us to do. Maybe they wanted us to sit here and speculate who this person could possibly be. If that was what they wanted, it's working because it's gonna drive me crazy. It's gonna drive me fucking crazy. The curve stomp was so smooth. Let me see if I can find the clip. Let me see if that curve stomp was smooth as hell. Hi, Liv. Sorry, my screen was still open on the Liv Morgan. Like, I just thought that when I saw the way that person moved, I for a second thought that it was. There it is. All right. I for a second thought that it was freaking Seth himself because. Why are you pausing? Okay, hold on. Hello, can you pause? Okay, I cannot get the video to pause. Let me share my screen so you guys can see the curse stomp that this hooded figure hit. And I don't know. I don't know who it is. It was a good curse stomp. It was a good curse stomp, all right? So I'm going to post a poll here on my community tab when I go off the air, and I'll let you guys speculate on who it is, and maybe we'll see if we're right. I didn't like that we had a hooded figure, and I didn't like that we didn't have a reveal because I just didn't think that either one of these teams needed any outside help for a win. These teams were so stacked. So that kind of killed it for me. But if I take that out, was I entertained? I was. This was fun. I think it was Gable. But that person looked a little bit bigger than Gable. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how tall he was. They never had him stand next to anybody, so it's hard to measure how tall he was. Samantha said he has to be young. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Somebody tried to say in the chat was Randy Orton. I was like, nah, Randy's not moving like that, bro. So I'll put it on the community tab, and we can speculate on who it is, and then we'll talk about it on Monday. If that was Nikki Bella robbed, so I can vote. Yeah. Come on now. Come on now. But they always remember the finish, and I didn't like. I like Roman talking shit to Cody because he needs to get his belt back. But overall, I have fun. Did I have fun because I was here with you guys and we were talking shit? Probably. But was I entertained? Yes. Would I go back and rewatch this? Absolutely not. There's nothing in this show that I will go back to rewatch. But I was entertained watching it. That's the thing with WWE lately. Like, when I'm watching the shows, I'm like, well, that was fun. But there's no rewatch value. When I sit down and say, oh my God, what pay-per-view could I give WWE? Like, could I rewatch? I always go back to watch older pay-per-views. Mi calificación, un C. O B menos, B menos. It's a B minus for me. I don't think it was an F or a D. I don't think it was an A or a B. C. It was C. It was average. Oh my God, I hate to say it, but it was average, you guys. But it's crazy. I don't even want to believe that because the names that were going into this pay-per-view, and I was telling you guys like, oh my God, these War Games matches are so stacked. Dom and Cena were the highlight of the pay-per-view for me. And I gotta tell you something, and you might be shocked, but for me, the non-highlight, if I gotta pick, my favorite match was Cena and Dom. My least favorite match is the Women's War Games. Maybe I'm a mark. Maybe it's because I, in my head, booked it to be insane, but the talent and the name value in the women's match had me so hyped. Thank you, Jose. That I was a little underwhelmed. So I had to give them my least favorite because I just expected more. See, with the guys, I hated the ending. I hated the hooded person, but I thought the match was entertaining for the most part. So if I gotta put them in order, from least favorite to most favorite, least favorite women's war games, followed by Nikki and Stephanie, followed by the men's war games favorite, Dom and Cena. It's a C. It was mid, but I had so much fun with you guys. I didn't hate it, but I missed. There was a period of time, or I seen a couple of WWE shows that you immediately want to rewatch something in it. Last time I felt that, and it was more of a nostalgia thing, was I wanted to rewatch AJ Styles versus John Cena immediately at Clash in Paris because that match just felt so special. You ever exit a WWE pay-per-view and you go, nah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that immediately. I want to rewatch that match. I want to see what I missed. I don't feel that here. All right, that's my review. 40 minutes, we did it. Now listen, typically I do these. Sean Legacy, I know him because he was on NXT this last Tuesday. I saw him. I typically do these post shows for Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views for my members, for my channel members only. Today we decided to open it up for everybody, but we kind of like sit here and just discuss the show without a script. We just talk about what we like, what we didn't like, and speculate. And we just have a chat, and that's what we do. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to continue to be part of the after shows, we do that for the channel members. So feel free to join, subscribe, like the video. I am live here with you guys for Raw, NXT, Dynamite, TNA, SmackDown, and pay-per-views. Yes, I have no life. I'm aware. But we have fun, all right? And I had an excellent time with you guys. By the way, I forgot to take my last shot. I realized that because this is still full, so I do it now. What a fun night. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. At one point, we had over 1,400 people watching earlier. Amazing. Salud. Ooh, we're going to go ahead and sleeping a little bit tomorrow because there was not really a lot of surprise. Typically, I get up early when there's a lot of things to clip and things to do. There's only a handful of things that I want to clip and post for shorts and all that. Hangover City is going to be... I'm going to take some Tylenol before I go lay down. But I love you guys so much. Somebody asked earlier, the spicy streams are coming back this week. I took a couple of days off. Then I lost my grandpa. So I got to tell you something. Sexy was in my mood. Yes, I do have another platform. But hopefully on Monday, we'll go back to doing the spicy streams over there as well. All right? All right. Cheers to the hooded man. No clue who he is. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching the post show. Go back and watch all your favorite creators that are probably still live out there. And you guys are incredible, amazing. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. We have fun. We play bingo. The predictions card is staying. I like the idea of the prediction card. Paul, you killed it. I sucked. I sucked at my own game. Ridiculous. Have a great night, guys. As far as live goes, I will be here for Monday Night Raw, okay? Until then, as I burp pizza and alcohol. Adios. Boop.